Once I learned these 7 things, I've been able to give women some of the most intense and expansive orgasms of their entire lives. And I'm talking about legs shaking, can't even move type of orgasms. Make sure you watch this video till the end. Now let's jump right into
Today,
it.
I'm gonna
share the 7 best G-spot stimulation techniques so you can be an absolute legend in bed and have her begging for more. But first, before we start, it's important to understand where the G-spot is inside the vagina so you can find it correctly for stimulation. The G-spot is located on the anterior wall of the vagina, which, if you're laying down, is the top wall or the front. Usually it's about 1 to 2 inches up that wall, but it may be higher or lower depending on the woman. It will feel a little different than the surrounding tissue and is like a little spongy patch with little ridges on it, and it's often described like the outside of a walnut. It's also really important to note that the G-spot is an area of the vagina that needs to be engorged in order for it to be stimulated. I know how it is. Men get hard and they want to just get going right away, but women can take up to 20 to 40 minutes to be fully engorged and ready for penetration. Make sure you give her the time to be fully ready. You can give her the best opportunity to have a G-spot orgasm and to enjoy the stimulation you're about to give her. So now it's time to share this 7 best G-spot stimulation techniques so you can support your partner in having some of the best orgasms of her life. Number 1. Soft tapping. Once you have given your partner the proper foreplay and she's inviting you into her with her hips, you can start by applying your favorite lube and putting one finger, maybe the pointer or the middle finger, into her. But make sure your fingernails are super clean, trimmed and smoothed out before you do anything. And you can enter her super slowly and just let your finger sit there for a little bit and let your partner settle into the penetration. One of the worst things you can do is get too aggressive to start and just go and jackhammering your fingers around. So many guys make this mistake, and women just shake their heads. And usually they're like, just put it in me already and just stop. So instead, you are going to take it slow, enter, and then gently. You're going to start by tapping lightly on her G-spot to ask her how it feels. This is not supposed to be fast or hard. It's just to get acquainted to see how it feels for her. Some women absolutely love G-spot stimulation, but some might be a bit numb there and don't feel anything at all. This is a way to understand what is happening for her, because if she feels pain or numbness on her G-spot, then it's a signal to just stop trying to stimulate her G-spot altogether. However, if she likes it, then you can continue on to number 2. Number 2. Come hither motion. This is the classic that everyone knows about, the G-spot that you stimulate in this come hither type motion. But I just want to make sure you know exactly what that means. Using only your finger pads, you are just gently tickling and dragging your finger on her G-spot. You're not scooping, and you definitely aren't using the point of your finger or the nail. That would be super painful. This is a way to stimulate the entire length of the G-spot and just see how she enjoys these longer strokes. Again, this is a tickle and not the move that will bring her to orgasm, although it could. But we are still in that warm-up phase. Number 3. The indirect TS on either side of the G-spot. There are 2 parts of the vaginal walls that are jam-packed with nerve endings due to its proximity to the G-spot and the clitoris. The G-spot is located at the top of the clock. At 12 o'clock, these spots are 11 and 1. Start with them, one at a time, and explore with your finger pad and TS. This way, you're not so laser-focused on the G-spot, and the arousal can move around her vagina a little bit. Maybe you will find that she really likes one of these spots. One is a place that a lot of women love, and this can help increase her arousal and take her closer to orgasm. Of course, you always have to be asking her how it feels and asking if she'd like it harder, softer, faster, or slower. Let her guide you towards her orgasm. Number 4. Anchoring in. This is one of the most important G-spot stimulation techniques and is one of the most effective ways that I have found to help support women in deep G-spot orgasms. At this point, it may be possible for your partner to want to fingers, so make sure you ask, "Would you like me to add another finger? Do you want to fingers?" This would be the pointer and middle finger together, and instead of doing the come hither motion, where you tickle across the whole G-spot, you're gonna pick one area in the middle of her G-spot and anchor your fingers on that spot, and use more pressure and essentially pull the orgasm out of her. You will want to use a consistent, rhythmic pressure and ask her exactly what she wants, and then hold that exact pressure. It's so common that when she gets close, you will try to speed up or use more pressure. Don't do this, it can really ruin the moment. And remember, it's not about you making her orgasm. It's about supporting her in having one. Listen and keep her favorite rhythm and pressure steady. Trust me guys, she will thank you for this after the fact. In this, anchoring creates more pressure on the G-spot, and it often results in an amazing orgasm. Number 5. Side to side. The side to side is another variation, where you take two fingers, and instead of going up and down from north to south, you're gonna go from side to side or east to west. You can experiment with going across the whole surface area of the G-spot, similar to what we did with the come hither motion, except we're going to be doing it from side to side. Or you can try anchoring in and going from side to side with a little bit more pressure. I have found that anchoring in and going from side to side with the correct pressure can be extremely pleasurable for some women. In this motion, you can also use your thumb to slide across her clitoral hood at the same time, and this is a super powerful technique that often results in very explosive orgasms. But as always, make sure you check in and see how she likes it first, and let her tell you exactly what she wants and needs. Number 6. Up and down. In my experience, this is by far the most effective method to giving a woman squirting G-spot orgasm. This is where you take one or two fingers, and instead of being so hyper-focused on the G-spot, like when you would do anchoring in, this is a technique where you are taking your fingers off the G-spot and vigorously moving your fingers in an up and down motion, covering a lot more area, going down to the bottom of the vaginal walls, and then back up to the top of the G-spot with each and every motion. By doing this, you're hitting the G-spot in a different way, and oftentimes, this is when you'll start to hear that squishy sound, like she's starting to kind of fill up with water. And if you follow the strokes that are making that squishy sound and stay in that spot, it is possible she can have a squirting orgasm. But before you do this technique, make sure this is something that you want to experience, that your partner wants, and that you're prepared for it with a towel on the bed, as it can get really messy. And finally, number 7, by far the most effective technique in supporting a woman in a G-spot orgasm. Number 7, the double blended orgasm, using her favorite G-spot stimulation technique from before with her preferred rhythm and pressure. Do this while at the same time licking her clitoris. Everything gets amplified. The clitoris amplifies the G-spot and vice versa, and they just mix into one intense, expansive orgasm that can send her to the moon and back, and have her legs shaking for the next 25 minutes. Trust me guys, this is one you have to try. Now, when it comes to G-spot orgasms or squirting orgasms, it's really important to note that it could be the most pleasurable moment of her life, and it could also bring up a lot of emotions. It's possible that she could cry or scream, or it could bring up grief or shame. Make sure you are prepared to hold space for all that she can express in these moments after orgasm. Be there for her if she needs you to. Hold her and let her cry. Let her know that it is safe to express her feelings and emotions, and that it is all welcome. This shows her that you are a rock and can handle it. And hold her in a process. To me, this is what it means to be a true masculine man. To be able to make her feel safe and hold her in her deepest vulnerability.